Delta Intel.
One of the first things to keep in mind when you're walking around an alien spaceship full of exotic options and controls is to be very careful. Someone accidentally presses the invisibility shield button and wham! Many witnesses will report seeing the craft as clear as a truck on the street in broad daylight, and as it's flying away, or even as it's approaching, suddenly it's just not there. They wink, they blink, they pinch themselves. It's gone. It could be that the ship's instantaneous acceleration just made it look like the craft disappeared, but not ours. Among the defense mechanisms on our alien spaceship is a cloaking device, perfect for sneaking out of dangerous situations. Okay, so it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than anything we humans have been able to achieve.
When light hits an object, it excites the atoms, and the atoms then re-radiate. If you want invisibility, that requires controlling the atomic structure of the atom itself. No one knows how to do that.
In fact, some of our fellow Earthlings further down on the evolutionary scale seem to do a better job of disappearing on command than we do.
There are animals which can change their coloration depending on the background they're up against. Chameleons are, of course, very well known. There's some flatfish that can do this also. Tiny freshwater sole, which have both eyes on the same side of their head. But if you put them on a bottom which has got any particular pattern, they'll realign their coloration to match that.
The flounder performs its disappearing act thanks to chromatophores, special cells containing pigment granules that enable the organism to change color.
A really striking experiment, somebody tried putting these things on top of a square checkerboard type pattern. And they couldn't match it exactly, but they came real close. The edges of the black squares were somewhat rough, the spacing was correct, and they were approximately square.
Camouflage isn't the same as invisibility, but it could achieve the same result.
If you electrify a piece of cloth and put sensors in the system so that it can, in effect, see, you could presumably change the cloth coloring to match the background in an active way, if you had a little computer to do it.
Invisibility is a nice option. The alien ship also has a force field among its defenses. The force field generator is even capable of repelling laser weapons. However, force field shields and cloaking devices aren't the exclusive domain of alien engineers. The Department of Defense is spending R&D money to turn science fiction into science fact. Here at Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia, Munir Larousi is at the forefront of cold plasma research. Plasma might one day hold the key for futuristic defensive weaponry, once limited to sci-fi movies.
This very well could be the force field or the cloaking device of the future, somehow similar to, what people have dreamt about in Star Trek.
Great. So what's plasma?
Matter comes in 4 known states. The solid state, and then you heat it, and you get the liquid state. And then you heat that, and you get the gaseous state. And if you keep on heating that, some of the molecules and atoms get stripped from their electrons, and then become ionized. When it becomes like this, we call it plasma.
99% of visible matter in the universe may be plasma, including stars. And it comes
in natural and man-made varieties.
Nature, when you have a storm and you get lightning, that light you see that comes from the plasma that's breaking down because of the high voltages between the cloud and the ground. It's man-made in neon lights and fluorescent lights. Inside of those, the gas is broken down into a state of plasma.
Dr. LaRussi's device generates a plasma plume by applying voltage between two disc-shaped electrodes in the presence of helium gas. The U.S. Air Force provides some of the funding to Dr. LaRussi. Their hope is that someday, cold plasma devices can act like the fabled cloaking devices and force field shields on TV and in the movies.
We are trying also to apply plasma in a different kind of setting, so the plasma can play a role of a shield or of a mirror to bounce off electromagnetic waves. Instead of having a really solid material that is there, when the plasma is switched off, there is nothing, then you switch on the plasma, and then the plasma will act as a mirror that you can bounce electromagnetic waves from.
LaRussi hasn't quite used plasma as a protective shield, but he's working on it. Depending on the density of the plasma, it could absorb certain electromagnetic waves, such as radar.
Then nothing bounces back, and the radar thinks there is nothing out there.
That's a stealth use of plasma. In essence, you've created a cloaking device invisible to radar. Another use would involve embedding electrodes into the skin of the craft, which could instantly generate a protective plasma shield that absorbs microwave energy.
We know how to make the plasma. However, to take it one step further and to get it to actually play the role that you want it to play as a protective shield or protective skin is feasible, but there is a lot of technical and scientific issues that need to be tackled.
It's going to be a while before our scientists on Earth can build a proper cloaking device, but this alien ship might help speed development. The saucer has everything: laser weapons, cloaking devices, and plasma force field shields. It's almost like the aliens watched our old sci-fi movies and TV shows before they built this ship. If that's what they did, if they copied some of their best gadgetry from our human imaginations, there just might be the greatest spaceship option imaginable: a teletransporter.
On an all-new IR